All right, I was thinking we'll do like a blue background for this so that we could see the figures really well. All right, let's get this thing rocking and rolling.
What are we doing?
Figures. Welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. It is time for us to get back to the vintage Star Wars figures reviews. The guide that will help you collect the vintage figures that we all love. We'll walk you through the next group of figures, talk about the things to focus on. When you're shopping for those figures, you want to find a good quality figure. If you're looking to grade them, you're going to be even more skeptical. We'll go over accessories, we'll go over current prices, and cover everything we can think about these three figures that we're going to go over for this episode. Let's bring the fellas in. Christopher is here.
This is like the never-ending story with this topic. It's been going on for about 3 years. We're finally going to finish it up.
Well, I feel like this is kind of what we originally planned, that we would once in a while do one of these. But I guess people like them and they want more of them.
They were always supposed to be like a fill-in when we didn't have a topic. Let's just do them, and then you know, people want these. It's popular.
It's hot in the streets, as they say. Brandon is here.
People want them, but that was 2 years ago. Let's see if they still want them.
Right. Somewhere in here.
Is that the first one we're doing?
Sure. John's here. Here it is. It's hot in the streets. That's what the kids say.
Yeah, his butt is from the Arby's that he just ate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just snarfed down an Arby's roast beef sandwich and a potato cake. I'm in survival mode this week.
What's a potato cake? I don't know what that is.
You tell Christopher what a potato cake is, he's going to think of the Jewish delis all around his neighborhood.
What's a potato cake?
You're lucky if you make it through this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Why am I always last?
That's actually not what I'm going to say. I'm so disgusted on what John eats.
It's
like I said, I'm in
wild.
Survival mode right now.
Arby's and a potato cake?
John has always reminded me of like the typical truck driver that drives cross country and stops at the most random gas stations and gets like the nachos and the hot dogs and
but at the same time he's correcting everybody's English that's inside there with him. You know,
like he has a stomach of iron.
No, he's
the brain of a professor and a stomach of.
You forget. He stops to shit at the truck stop, and then he'll buy the ho-hos and the monster, and then he'll get back into the truck.
Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull. Right.
Not Monster.
All right. Well, here we go. We're going to jump right into the topic. John, you'll have a chance to defend yourself throughout the episode.
I'm sure.
He's chomping at the bit, but we're going to jump in. People that are watching these episodes want to get right into the figures. So first up on this episode, we are going to take a look at Luke Hoth from Empire Strikes Back. Let's get him on the screen. That's a pretty nice looking figure. And we're going to cover this guy. This is Luke in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back. He's on planet Hoth, which is the Rebel base. And things are peaceful at first, and then all hell breaks loose. John, tell us about this figure. You know, what you think of when you see this figure, you know, about his outfit and things like that. Anything else you could fill in?
A couple things about this figure that it's not really like screen representative, you know. It's not, doesn't look like what he has on in the film.
Really?
Huh?
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I like this figure. I think it's a cool figure. But his face mold, it looks like a different face mold too from any of the other Lukes.
He is struggling on this one.
Yeah. I just walked in the door.
No, I know.
And ate an Arby's sandwich.
Yeah.
So
I can't tell if it's the Arby's sandwich trying to come out or
but I've always thought that I've always thought that the face mold was different than the other Luke face molds too, but you know.
Well, I think this face mold looks more like him than obviously the Bespin Luke or the Farm Boy. I think this one with the chin and you could see his jaw a little bit. I always felt like this one looked most like him. Let's throw it over to Charles right now. Charles, you're going to talk about the accessory for this guy, and I'll throw that up on the screen.
Shane, how do I even follow that?
You got to be like the Yankees in a playoff game. You've got to just have a blank mind. You've got to forget about the thing that happened before and just move on to the next thing.
And you asked me what I thought about it, so that's what I thought about it.
So this is the Hoth Rebel rifle. I'm pretty sure we went over this in the prior episodes.
But hit it again though. There's some new folks here.
Some are black and shiny, some are rubbery. I would just make sure it looks real, and there's some fake ones going around that are painted black on like a white plastic. Other than that, it is probably one of the cheapest and worst accessories from the entire vintage Star Wars collection.
Yeah, this is something that's very easy to get a legit copy of because they're not expensive, and like we always say, just for anyone who hasn't seen another episode, if you're not sure if one of these weapons is painted or not, you could take it and you can rub it on a little piece of paper, and if it writes in black or gray, you're rubbing the paint off. That means it's painted. If it's black plastic, it won't do that. So that's a little tip for you. Let's throw it over to Brandon now. He's going to get a little bit more involved in covering this figure. What are you looking for when you're looking for a top-notch figure? This is not an easy one, Brandon.
No, this is a very difficult figure to find in really nice condition, actually. The binos and the backside is what you got to look for a lot on these figures. The binoculars in the front usually always have rubs on them. Can we go to the front? There we go. So the front there, the white binoculars around his neck, those usually are always either missing paint from the factory or just scuffed up because it sticks out a little bit further than the actual figure. The same thing with his rear end. I think a lot of kids were sticking these guys inside tauntauns. Mm-hmm. And when you were doing that, you were basically just scraping that backside of paint there, which is very thin paint. It comes off very easily. And then the other obvious thing with these figures is the limbs. The limbs are always degraded and always a tannish color. The one that you have here, this example is very nice and white. So if you find a nice and white figure like this, that's definitely a keeper. So that is very rare to find a figure that is in this kind of shape right here that they're showing.
Yeah, and just to be clear for anybody who's not very familiar with this figure, like Brandon said, the pelvis area that's white is painted. The legs and the arms are molded white plastic. So, you have that different bevy of things to look for. The plastic could be degraded, could have spots. It could have yellowing or graying, and then the painted parts. You have the rubs, and the same thing with the scarf. Coming off the head, it could be rubbed. Chris, let's throw it over to you now and talk about, what's the current value of this figure? What kind of range are you comfortable with? And, is this figure gradable? We talk about grading in a recent episode of our podcast recently. What do you feel about this figure?
I mean, honestly, he's top 3, in my opinion, hardest figure to find nice. This example right here is absolutely beautiful. I would grade that one if I actually had that one in my hands. And he is 100% worth grading if he's that nice. Because if he gets an 85 and over, you're looking at $250 all day long. Okay. Now, the figure itself, when you have a normal Luke Hoth, it's $10 if you're lucky. Because the accessory is $5. And the figure can be $3 to $5 depending on the condition. But if you have a really nice one, you can put $60 up and it would sell within 5 seconds because they are so hard to find clean. They're always degraded. Always. Mm-hmm.
This is an example of a figure out of the whole line that is a very common figure. There's a lot of them out there. This is not a later release or anything. There's a million of these out there, more than a million. But it's all about the quality. There's so many spots. The belt, the gun holster, it can all have rubs, and there's so many spots that are issues.
When I'm listing figures all year round, I will normally come across, 2 to 3 nice examples of a stormtrooper that's white or a Death Star droid that has all the silver and the black and everything. This figure, I don't think I even come across one nice one per year loose. If I have one, it's normally graded already because they are so damn hard. So grade this figure if you honestly think it's very nice.
Okay, great. All right, so that'll do it for Luke Hoth, Luke in his Hoth outfit. Any questions about this figure, please hit us in the comments below. We'll be happy to give you our answers. Next up, we're going to cover a figure that we did cover sort of already in this series, but it is the second release of C-3PO. It's the removable limbs version. So we had the standard version from the first movie, from A New Hope, and they re-released him, basically replaced him in the line with this new version that the limbs come off from the movie. John, it's your time to shine.
This was a fun one when I was a kid to have because you could put the backpack on Chewbacca and, take his limbs apart, just like in the movie. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
All right, well, Charles, let's throw it over to you for the accessory. And, this is not an exciting accessory, obviously. You're talking about the backpack. But however, whatever you want to talk about with this backpack and what's the purpose of it.
It's a sack.
Well, who's better to talk about it than Charlie Bean Sacks?
So the few things I know you have to look for is the repro ones look like they're hand cut and the armholes would be smaller. I really don't or haven't seen that many fake ones of this. So I know they're out there. I know like most of them have like smaller armholes and they just look like someone hand cut it and they're like super, super glossy. I've never seen one before, but I know the repros are out there.
Yeah, this is another accessory that's very easy to find. And in fact, a lot of times you can find it in this condition that you see on the screen, like almost completely unused. There was a lot of baggy C-3POs floating around, in the world that have never been opened. I believe it was a mail away at one point. But regardless, this is not a hard accessory. So if you find a really nice loose one and you want to complete it, not difficult to do. Brandon, let's throw it over to you for condition. I'm going to get a few more photos ready for us here, and I'll let you start talking about the figure as you see it on the screen.
So this is the removable limbs C-3PO. So you just got to, find yourself a nice and stiff one where the limbs have not been, completely twisted around. So finding one that has very minimal play wear is a little difficult, but this figure for some reason keeps its chrome a little easier than the original C-3PO. I've come across quite a few of these in nicer condition than the original C-3PO. I don't know if it's because it was a later figure that was that came out, and by that time kids weren't playing with it as much. That might be the case, but for some reason I always find ones that with really nice decent chrome on there. But it's the same thing as the original C-3PO figure. It's finding one with really nice chrome and making sure that it's shiny and not scratched at all. And again, this is a very nice example that they have here with heavy wear, usually on the joints there with that elbow, that 90-degree angle behind his right elbow there. That's usually a big wear point, as well as his back end there and also around his face, his eye sockets, and the back of his head. And that little raised ribbed area up there between his shoulders, that area is always scuffed up too. So you always want to check out for any kind of rubs.
Yeah, and this is a good tip again for some novice collectors who maybe are just getting into this line. Basically, across the line, when you see figures in person, if you're in a shop where they have some vintage figures or you're at a toy show, you want to look at all of the raised areas of the figures, the figure areas that stick out the most. Imagine the figure laying on the floor, a kid's playing with it. He puts it down on the floor, up, face down, face up. Whatever's touching the floor, that's where the rubs are going to start. So those elbows, that the butt area, the between the shoulder blades, he's dead on. That those are the spots that get the rubs.
Another thing about this, if you're new to the collection and you're wondering if this is a removable limb C3PO and it's standing up in the shelf or whatever, the bolt in the back is not metal; it's molded plastic. It's part of the mold, and that's a quick tell. Whether it's a removable limb C3PO or if it's not. And they also use this mold for the droid C3PO.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. All right. So, Chris, let's throw it over to you now. I have a few more photos. Obviously, I'm showing. I'll just go ahead and speak to it. I'm showing a leg, the torso, just to give some novice collectors a feel for what this figure looks like when the limbs are off, what the loose limbs look like. And of course, here's the fun shot of Chewbacca. This figure is meant to pair with him.
That's what I was talking about right there.
Yeah. This is what it's meant to pair with, meant to for playability. Chris, what are you thinking about the current value of this figure in a really nice condition? Is this a figure you think about grading?
I would agree with Brandon when he says, I don't know if the mold is different, like the paint they used, or if he just wasn't really a playable figure, but it's not hard to find these nice. So he is not a figure that I would send in grading, honestly. Even if he gets graded in 85, you're looking at maybe $125. On a normal day, you could probably list these between 25 and 30 altogether. The basket's about $8. They're not hard to find in good shape. I don't know if they were played with a lot. And you would think that they would be, because you take them apart and you put it on Chewbacca's back and you would, walk them around in the basket, but they're really not that hard to find in good shape. But I would say around $25 is average price.
They also mass produce these in the baggies as well as with the mocks. So these were plentiful.
Yeah. And the baggies are like $35, $40.
Yeah, they used to be $55, $65 a piece.
Yeah, they were like $50
until everybody found out how plentiful they were.
Yeah, there's, like Brandon said, there is a lot of these. Like, it's one of the most mass-produced baggies out there. So,
yeah, and here's a little bit about what John was talking about. Not only is there a different material, but this is actually two removable limbs. There's a difference in the bolt in the back depending on the COO, the country of origin.
Boy, here we go.
So I just grabbed these just to show some newer collectors that there are some differences that you don't want to get thrown off if you see something like this and you aren't sure if it's correct or if it's fake or if it's not the right figure you're looking for. There's just differences in the molds depending on where the figure was created. There were a couple different factories around the world that were creating these figures. So there's a lot of resources online. You can find them just with a Google search. And if you do have a handful of these figures yourself, you can see some of the differences and start to decode some of this stuff for yourself. All right, let's jump into the next figure, and that is going to be.
You all right, John?
I'm excited for the next figure.
I thought you were catching a fly.
No.
Hold on 1 second. We're going to have to cut right here. What is this figure?
I don't know. Apparently, John's very excited for it.
I am going to keep track of these in our list, so now we won't ever have to go back and remember what we're doing.
I have a whole checklist, and I've checked off all the ones that I can even share it with you because it's on iPhone. It's an iPhone note.
Well, I shared it with you. I'm the one who gave you the list.
Yeah, no, I know, but I created the whole list of 96 and checked all the ones that you gave me. Is what I'm saying.
All right, so then you just keep.
Yeah, I mean, I can share it with everybody if you want to, but I know which ones to go to next. I didn't grab extra shots of this figure. I'm just remembering I got tied up in setting all this shit up. Here is the one shot I have.
As long as we have one picture, so we can talk about it, that's fine.
All right, so the next figure is the Hoth Rebel Commander. Not a super exciting figure, kind of the epitome of an army builder. If you had the benefit or the pleasure of having many Star Wars figures. Maybe you got a few of these from different people for your birthday. This is where you could set up a whole Hoth battle with these kind of generic soldiers. And there were Hoth rebels, and then there was this guy who was a commander. And John, what do they call this guy? He's named after a TV show character, right?
Yeah, from Cheers, Cliff Claben.
Yes,
because he was an actor who actually played a rebel. Leader. Yeah,
Really?
But yeah, he did. So if you have a rebel commander, if you have a turret and probot playset, the rebel commander is essential because he sits on top of the turret. I mean, other than that, just yeah.
All right. Well, let's throw it over to Charles. Charles,
talk about his favorite weapon.
Talk about his favorite weapon. What are we looking at again here? Is this another Hoth Rebel rifle?
It is, which we already went over. So I'm following John. It's very hard. So I'm going to push it off to the next guy.
I just walked in the door after about 14 hours of work today, so I apologize.
That's right.
I like this figure. I had it. I used to play with it. Next.
Not much to be said about this guy.
No.
This is probably one of my most difficult figures to find that's super clean, actually, because for some reason he doesn't have a whole lot of paint on him, but the paint that he does have, his little badge there over his left breast there, that badge is always missing paint for some reason. The same thing with the ammo on his right side there, those two black spots there, those are always missing paint. And the back side, his backpack is always rubbed right on the outside there where there's black paint. I don't know if you can get a picture of it.
Yeah, just keep moving along, Brandon.
But I guess there's no backside picture. Anyway, but yeah, his boots, get some rub every now and then, but that's really easy to see. But I can never find a really nice one of these, and when I do, they're usually degraded. The torso degrades on them, so that's all I really got for this figure.
All right. Well, let's start over to you, Chris.
Price-wise, he is not a figure that I would grade unless you're doing a loose graded collection and you need him for your collection. Then you would grade him. For the most part, there's really no point in grading this figure. It's kind of stupid. His blaster is $5. That's usually what I base it off of. And then the condition of the figure, it could be from 3 up until, like Brandon says, if I found a really nice one, I mean, I can list it for $25 and it would sell. If I think it's going to grade like an 80 and above, people will buy it. But for the most part, he's an army builder. $5 standard price, $10 together with the blaster. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think you're really looking at the boots first and foremost, and then you're looking at a couple of these high spots that Brandon pointed out. The scarf and then a couple of spots in the back with the dark paint.
There it is.
Yeah, so
the square, the top square is always scuffed up for some reason.
Is that the highest point on the back?
Yeah, it's the highest point that sticks out of the back, and I've even seen ones come off card where they're still scuffed up. So,
from rubbing against the card back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and the Hoth Rebel rifle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Again, not an expensive rifle, but when you're ordering stuff off eBay or you're ordering it from kind of an unknown source through a marketplace, you just never know. So it is good to educate yourself about these weapons, to learn how to identify them. There's a lot of help out there online, and you can always reach out to this show as well if you're not sure. Charles is a guru with this stuff. Chris is really good with it, and John is. I mean, everybody here knows their stuff. So
Very good stuff.
Exactly. So, hit us with the comments. Feel free to reach out. Hey, come on over to Rogue 5 Toys. That's where you can also kind of interact with us a lot as well. So if you come over to our sales page, these guys are on there every day. This is where it is, Collected with Rogue 5 Toys. So head over there, join our group if you're not there already. We sell some beautiful figures and all different lines of toys, vintage and modern. Come on over there and collect with us, and you know that you're going to be certain to get authentic toys that have already been checked, that have already been reviewed, and you're going to get an honest opinion of their quality. So I think that's going to do it for us this episode, guys. Another episode of reviewing vintage Star Wars figures. We kept it to 3 this time. We're wrapping up Empire Strikes Back. So
is that a wrap on Empire Strikes Back?
that is a wrap. That is a wrap. There are.
Wow.
I asked Christopher early today. I said, "How many Empire Strikes Back figures are there left to do?" And he said,
0.0.
"Right." So next time on this series, the ultimate guide to collecting vintage Star Wars figures, we will be jumping into the best movie of the trilogy.
Oh God,
That sounded just like Chris.
Is that right? John, you look like you're frozen.
No. What did you say?
It's the Arby's.
What did you even say?
The best movie of the trilogy is coming up next. We're going to review the first few figures of Return of the Jedi.
That's
So-
not the best movie of the trilogy.
yeah, no.
That's correct. So please, if you like what we're doing, support the show on our Patreon. The address is there on the bottom of the screen. You can find all of our links down below in the description. And we will see you next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Please check us out every Sunday. And our Wins and Whiff episodes are each Wednesday. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, let us know if you want us to review the playsets too.
See ya.
Oh.
No.
Just say no.
No.